Start. Welcome back to another episode of the Football Experience. Today we're joined by Mikey Maidment from the Saints Prime podcast.
Hello. How's it
Chicago
going?
Cast.
Yeah. Can't wait for the new season to get back underway. Missing it.
Honestly, same.
Missing the shushing from Laurie.
No, not really. Not the shushing. The shushing makes me cringe. But if he wants to do that, that's fine. That's all right.
Fine.
Do that to 40-year-old men. That's okay.
As long as it's annoying, that's the point.
So let's get into the first game, which was Chelsea against United. I guess the main point on this game is about the penalty decision.
Yeah, there's a few different little theories about it. He moves his hand towards the ball in the air, which makes it a difficult one. Obviously, from first glance, I was actually like, why are they even looking at this? Because it just genuinely didn't look like he'd done anything. But then he does reach up, he touches the ball, then you think, yes, it is a penalty. However, Greenwood also moves his arm up whilst Hudson-Odoi's got his arm there. It sort of moves his arm up onto the ball. So it is it's a really difficult one. And I think it's been made out to look worse than it is as a decision. I
think the main controversy over it is what the ref said. That's the main controversy over the decision. Because if he did even say, I don't know, like Maguire's backtracked on what Shaw said in his interview of, he didn't give it because of the controversy. If Shaw's I think he was getting a fine and a ban, but I think that's now been taken away. He's not getting a fine and a ban. Yeah. So I don't really know. The way that I want to see it is if I compare it to the one that Ward-Prowse had given away against Brighton. He had his arm in the air. He wasn't looking for the ball, but the way he turned, it hit his arm. So he didn't mean to do it, but it was still a penalty because he did move the ball with his hand. So that's the only thing that I can think of why it wasn't given as a penalty is Hudson-Odoi, whether he meant it or not, moved the ball with his arm and took it into his path to clear it. So I thought it was a penalty, but I know that it's very 50-50 at the moment whether things are penalties or not. It's very up in the air in that way. So
yeah. Anyway, I like to say it makes up for last time when Maguire had a fucking headlock around us. So even now, we're even.
Yeah. Yeah, you can take that. There are some interesting decisions that ref decides to make this season, isn't there?
I think it's also important to remember with VAR as well. It's not like we've had it for an awful long time, if you think about it. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but in the long run, it probably will be better that we've got it than we don't have it.
What do you think, Mikey? Do you think VAR in general is a good thing for football?
I think it is a good thing. I think when done right, it is a good thing. Because even last night when Everton scored against Southampton from that free kick, it was a clear offside. They went to VAR. It showed it was offside and the goal was taken away rightfully. So there are elements where the game is black and white that VAR works. It's just what VAR was brought in to do was to take away the subjectivity of it and give the referees a different angle. And it turns out instead of it being subjective to the ref on the field, it's now subjective to the ref in the VAR box. And that's the same with every sport. It's the same with cricket. It's the same with rugby. It's the same. Any video referee in there, it's going to be subjective to that referee. And it's not perfect in every other sport as well. It's just you don't hear it because you don't follow it. So it won't be perfect. There still will be decisions that will be taken away. But I think it is better because it does give that extra angle to the referee just to see whether it is or not. And I think they do need to be encouraged to go towards the screens. Because I prefer the referee on field to have the final say than someone being told, "Oh yeah, he's fouled him. That makes it a penalty." Because that's not the referee's decision at the end of the day. He should be in charge of the game.
Yeah. It's kind of similar to what we were saying last week with Luke. Yeah. Just saying about it because one thing that we agreed on is that they need to clear up what clear and obvious is.
Yeah. If it's like his toe is offside, that's not really clear and obvious anymore.
But then
it is offside.
That's the ruling, yeah. That's the ruling of it, is that if a player, you gotta, there's an element of it where you go, oh, it's VAR, and there's also an element where you go, well, it's the rules as well, because it is defined that if a player has a body part he can score with offside, it is offside. So even if it's his toe, he can score with his toe. That means that it's offside. So as much as it does take away from the attacker's advantage, because that's the linesmen were told, if you don't think it's offside, give the attacker the benefit of the doubt, and the attacker doesn't have that benefit of the doubt anymore. So it's just going to change the game, and people will have to adapt. You hear Jamie Carragher saying, oh, don't make a tackle in a box, just try and block the shot, because then you've got less chance of giving away a penalty. It's sort of like a striker's run. You're looking at people with free kicks now, and people playing high lines. They're now standing 2 yards off them to try and get that run up to get that chance to go onside. So it'll just change how people play the game. It's exactly like the back pass rule from like 1992. You're getting players having to play the ball out the back, goalkeepers having to use their feet, not being able to time waste in that way. It's just going to change it, and that's what people are going to have to adapt to and have to learn to. It's in the game now. They're not taking it away, so teams are going to have to adapt to it.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the Tottenham-Burnley game. This was the one where Bale scored. Did Bale score 2 and an assist? I think he got 2 and an assist. Yeah. What did you guys think about how Bale played in that game?
He was very good. Like,
the
thing is, like, I was literally saying like a week ago that I didn't think Bale would get back to a good point, and it's it's difficult. Like, Mourinho's supposedly like trying to manage him sort of coming back into regular football, but there is only so much time you have to manage him. Like, even if he does come in after this, it is a loan, right?
Yeah, it's a loan.
Even if he does come in again after this loan, he still only has like a couple of years left, probably, of his career. So it's like,
how old is Bale now? Is he like
32? Something like that.
Yeah.
But you see professionals, I know they're exceptions, but you see professionals like Ronaldo and Ibrahimovic still play at the top of the game until like 38, 39. And I know that's because they haven't really had massive injuries in their career and they've looked after themselves. But I think it's down to Bale, whether he has a longer career or not, because I think the drive, you could see the drive that he was playing with against Burnley. He wanted to perform, he wanted to play football, and that's a side of Bale we haven't really seen. Especially this season, maybe at Real Madrid as well under Zidane. So that it was just quite nice to see a player of his ability actually perform to the level of his ability.
Yeah.
But to say that he's back, I think it's too early. It's one game against Burnley. It's not like a proper massive 6-pointer. You don't know if it's a one-off or not. But it was just good to see Bale perform at the highest. And if Mourinho can get that firing, he's got Bale, Harry Kane, and him and Son. It's a fantastic front three that they've got to be looking high up the table if they can kick into form.
Yeah, I'm very glad that we've played them twice already, so we don't have to go against whatever they
still have to play again, which will be fun.
Yeah, because Tottenham are 8th in the table at the moment.
Yeah, it's not great. They are a little bit off, but if Bale can come in and perform against some of the bigger sides, that's when we'll be able to judge it properly, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you look at how teams have been rising and falling in their form this year. Southampton example. We were top of the league in November, and now we've got odds to get relegated. And it's just that sort of teams can go in and out of form. I think Man City have probably won the league at this point. I mean, you look at Liverpool dropping off. Chelsea have had poor runs, especially under Lampard. United have had poor runs as well earlier in the season. That can always dip. It only takes a game, and then all of a sudden you're not winning.
Yeah.
And like Leicester currently with all the injuries, they might drop off in form as well. They just lost to Arsenal. There's so many teams that you just don't know how they're going to react, how they're going to bounce back, and you can get a top 4 place. Like West Ham are up there.
Yeah, West Ham are like
really, really well.
I don't know how they're doing that.
But they can drop off too, or they could kick on and get top 4. It is completely up in the air at the moment, and that's what's exciting about it this year.
Out.
Yeah,
you say that, but you think like people saying that about Leicester when they won the league, and they didn't. Like they just didn't drop. And West Ham, if they can keep that squad together, they're not picking up a lot of injuries at the moment. Antonio's on good form. They do look dangerous, and David Moyes have been playing really, really well at the moment. So they might not even drop out of that.
It will be interesting because undoubtedly they probably are going to get an injury before the end of the season. If they lose Antonio again, who is quite injury prone, he tends to get a lot of little injuries. Like they don't. Do they even have a backup now? Because they got rid of
Haller.
Maybe some youngster, but like they don't have a big name. They don't have too many big name players, but like they don't have a definite replacement for him. If he is injured, they'll probably have to play someone out of position or something, and that's not ideal for a team quite that high.
No. Yeah, they don't really have another out-and-out number 9. They got Ben Rama and Yarmolenko could probably do a job up there, but it's not the same as Antonio, is it? Don't really have another out-and-out one.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to Leeds, Aston Villa then.
So, what did you guys think about the whole the fantasy football thing about?
Oh yeah, that's funny. It's just like it almost seems like a joke. Like they shouldn't have done it, and fantasy football probably shouldn't be involved in Premier League teams, realistically, because it's not, but it is almost like betting on yourself. Like,
but like
I think I explained this point. Like, it's not like, so if you're John Stones and you've got Marcus Rashford running in behind and you think, oh well, I could tackle him, but actually I need fantasy points this week, so I'm gonna let him score. It's not really. I don't think that comes into it. I think it's just it's team bonding. If you get a league together, it's just a bit of fun to have in the dressing room or having a fantasy league. I don't think it really means that much. It's just unfortunate that the IPs got hacked and like people could see the fantasy leagues. And I mean, Villa have done the right thing in like banning it and just saying, right, we're not doing it until they actually sort out and try and strengthen the firewalls or whatever. It's all internet stuff in it. I don't get it. But try and strengthen the web page or whatever they do. To make sure that it doesn't happen again, because it can be used as a tactical advantage. It may sound stupid, but if you see someone's team take someone out who might be injured, then they're probably not going to play.
Yeah. But surely you could do this the other way though, and like so Saints could all take out Danny Ings.
Yeah,
and then the other team might think Danny Ings isn't playing, and then he does play.
It'll be the maddest tactical ploy ever. Right, lads, don't care about your fantasy football team, okay? Everyone take Ingsy out, and Sheffield United won't be expecting it. They won't know what's happened.
I hope someone does do that, That would just be incredible.
Bielsa will get Leeds doing it, wouldn't he? That's something that Bielsa will do.
Talking of Villa Leeds, the reason I picked this game is because I wanted to ask, with Grealish's absence, how much impact do you think he'll have on Villa?
He is one of the most creative player, if not the most creative player in the league. So of course it's going to be a massive impact not having him, but that's not where Villa seem to struggle. Well, not even struggle. They don't concede goals, so it's not going to be massive for him. I mean, it probably takes out, depending how long he's out for, which I'm not too sure how long it is. Their defence is their main stalwart. I think in games that they've won this year, they've kept multiple clean sheets. I think the only one that they haven't kept a clean sheet in a game that they won was against Liverpool when they beat them 7-2. So it's a massive achievement for him, and that's what they've built themselves on, is their back four and their goalkeeper. Emi Martinez has been the best goalkeeper in the league this year.
He's been class, honestly.
Yeah. He's been fantastic and a great buy in fantasy football as well.
Yes, he has.
But like Konza and Mings is a back two. Matt Targett's looked the most solid that I've ever seen him. He couldn't defend like that in a Southampton shirt. Yeah. And then Matt Cash has been a great buy as well from Forest. Yeah, so I think they've really strengthened that back five, and it does. The loss of Grealish isn't as important because they can still score goals. They still got Ollie Watkins. They still got Ross Barkley. They've got El Ghazi. They've got players who can sort of chop and change around. But of course, it will be a big miss for him because he is the most creative player in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because it's been quite interesting to see how different they've been from this year to last year.
Mm.
Just because did they stay up last day, or it was something like that?
They shouldn't have stayed up.
Yeah,
if you remember the Sheffield United with the goal line
Ridiculous.
technology not being turned on or something like that, they shouldn't have actually stayed up, and they've definitely taken that to their advantage, because I think this would be their best Premier League finish in like a decade or something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like they were always down the bottom, and now they're probably going to finish top half this year, which has been a great season for them.
Yeah, definitely.
So next game, unfortunately, is Southampton versus Everton.
It is. It is 8 losses and 9, right? I'm not trying to bring it up again.
We've got 1 point in 27 available. We got 1 point, and that was against Chelsea.
Yeah.
A game we probably should have won if Ingsley wasn't stupid. But it's a combination of things. I was trying to rack my brain last night of what is actually going wrong, and it's a question of everything sort of bounces along together. So the way that Ralph wants to play, he wants to play high pressing football. He wants to get into people. He wants to get stuck in, win the ball high. For that, it takes a lot of energy, and with that, it gets a lot of injuries if you don't rotate your squad. The problem with this year is we got so many injuries and such a lack of a squad that playing that high pressing style just results in us losing key players. Like we had one fit central midfielder, we had one fit centre half for like at least 4 or 5 games this season. It's a question of investment, and you can always point it back to the board. Is people calling for Ralph's head? I don't agree with that. He is the best coach that we could possibly bring in at the moment. I know I saw someone on Twitter last night say that the best coaches out there are Eddie Howe, Frank Lampard, and Andres Villas-Boas. And it's just like, no. Like you're saying Villas-Boas is a better coach than Ralph. No, he's not. We have the best manager we could possibly have. We just need people to back him and invest in him, because we've seen what he can do. You look at the first 8 games of the season when we had everyone fit. We were top of the league. We were performing at such a high height, and we were talking about European football. And then it's just dropped off because the squad depth has decreased. And I think he's been learning. He's been very self-critical over this period of time, and it does need just a little bit of patience. And I think if we didn't have the start that we did have, and we did just have a consistent season, no one would be calling for his head if we were in this position at the moment. It's just the fact that we went from such a high to such a low, having no wins in 9.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem, and I don't think he should go. I don't think he should get sacked.
I think if we got to the semi-finals of the cup and then stay up, I still say that's a successful season.
I don't think relegation realistically is a worry. Like, I know. Obviously, if this form continues, it might be, but like surely it has to turn around.
Well, we've got Sheffield United next, which is a must-win. Now, the importance of that game is insane. We have to win that, otherwise. Yeah. we are in big trouble, because then we got City, but after that I think we got like a combination of Brighton and a couple of other teams down there. Fulham I think we've got as well. There's a couple of teams down there, and like 4 of our next 6 games are in the bottom 5, and those are the games that we have to win. And those are need, because if we can beat Sheffield United, I'll be a lot happier than if we don't get anything out of them, because then that is a worry.
I think it's also important to remember you probably won't need 40 points this season as well to stay up.
Yeah, but it is looking down the table. You see Fulham are like unbeaten in 5 or something like that, but then they've got Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City, and I think Leeds in the next 4. So I think they're going to struggle to pick up points there. Newcastle have got St Maximin and Almiron out until the end of April, so they're going to struggle to be creative. They're probably going to punt up to Andy Carroll, and there's another one as well. Who else is there? Brighton aren't in a good run of form. The luck's not going. They can't score. They against West Brom. Oh my God, they missed 2 penalties. They had the free kick go against them as well with the referee's whistle. Don't know what Lee Mason was doing there. And then just missing clear, obvious. It was
ridiculous.
I do feel sorry for Graham Potter, because he's got them playing some really good stuff, creating chances. They just can't finish it off, and that's what happens when you rely on a 28-year-old Danny Welbeck, who's not in the best of ways at the moment.
I remember when we were linked with Danny Welbeck at one stage.
There were like Premier League articles of how's Danny Welbeck going to trouble so-and-so, and so I'm like, well, he's not, is he? That's not going to happen.
You're not wrong.
Let's go on to the predictions now. So the first one's Chelsea versus Liverpool.
So
draw.
The thing is, like, we're very well known for giving people the points they've been waiting for a long time, or whatever. So that's not just Saints, by the way. That's like multiple times. But I think it will be a close game, but I think they'll probably nip it like 2-1 or something.
I can just see a straight up 0-0. I can't see either team scoring. Well, Chelsea probably have a better chance of scoring, in all fairness. It's just whether who's going to start up front. I think if they start Giroud up front, they've got a really good chance, because, well, of course, his record against the top 6 isn't great. So I can just see it 0-0. I can see it just playing out.
Fair enough. What did you say? Sorry, Matt?
I said 2-2.
2-2, okay.
Yeah, so the next one is Sheffield United versus Southampton. I've gone for a 2-1 Southampton, because I just feel like it's going to be a close game.
You say heart or head. This is the issue.
6-0 Sheffield.
Sure, I'll just see us playing out 2-0. I can see, because as much as we have conceded against Everton, we conceded 1 good chance and they scored it. Against Chelsea, we conceded from a penalty, and apart from that, you didn't have a lot of clear chance. It was just the Reece James one at the end. So defensively, we're not that bad. As long as Bednarek doesn't start at right back, I would be happy, and I'd be a lot more confident, because I think he's not a right back. He looks lost out there. And I think our best back two is still Vestergaard and Bednarek. So I think that's what, if we start them two, we'll be fine. It's just I don't know what our lineup is going into it, to be honest. I've got no idea.
I'd go 2-0 Saints as well.
Yeah.
Sheffield is struggling as well. They've picked up a little bit since, obviously their start, but I still think their main part of their game is just hoof it up to the 2 strikers, hope that they can sort of make something happen from there. But I think defensively you've got enough height and enough sort of firepower to prevent that.
Yeah.
We need one coming off of Ingsley's arse or something like that. We just need something like that just to get a goal ahead. Just need a stroke of luck.
Confidence up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Move from there.
Yeah,
That's what we thought with the one where FA Cup away at Wolves and shooting, hitting the goalkeeper and then hitting the shit going in, and we're thinking, oh, there's the goal that he needed. That's the one. That hasn't happened.
Yeah, true. Who knows? That was a different competition though.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, FA Cup, we're flying, mate. We're winning it. We're not.
Yeah, we're gonna win the FA Cup.
Until we come across City, and then that's when things go not so well. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone can say different to City. So
no,
last one, Man City, Man United.
Yeah,
I've gone 2-0 City on this one.
I think United will get a goal. They'll get some shit ass penalty, and I can see it being like a 2, maybe 3-1, but I'm going to go 2-1 to City.
I know how City are playing at the moment, but somehow Ollie seems to get it right against City. He got the first double against them in 10, 15 years or so. I think United will do him. I think it'll be 2-0 United. I think they'll just turn up, because they always do. They just seem to turn up at the Etihad as well, isn't it? They just seem to turn up and get a result. So I think they'll win 2-0. I think United will do it.
I would say it wouldn't be the most surprising thing, even with City's form.
No,
United do have that sort of different style that might be able to, cause problems for that City defence, who haven't really, they've been playing well, but they haven't really had that much to do.
They haven't had a lot of trouble in the last couple. Well, say last 20 games.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to the little fantasy football segment.
No, we won't.
We talk about the future, not the past.
Thank you.
The future of fantasy football. So
where is
this week?
You're fifth, I'm not.
Looking at the games, personally for me, I sort of used last week where I just used a load of points to make transfers. It was horrible for the points, but we did it anyway. I prepared myself, so I had 3 Man City players in for the double game week. I believe it's only City and Southampton that have the double game week.
Don't United?
Maybe they do. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I only noticed them too, but maybe they do as well. But
wait, this week coming?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
But the only issue with it is obviously picking City players. You're not getting a definite 2 games from anyone.
It's a gamble. It is. It's a gamble. And if Southampton are the only other team with a double game week, you don't really want to be putting 3 of them in there either at the moment. So
you've got Sheffield.
Yeah, but then we got City. So you're not going any centre halves, are you? And then you don't even know what the goalkeeping situation is because Fraser came back in on Everton. Yeah. So you can't really go McCarthy or Forster. No one's fit. No one knows if anyone's fit.
Yeah, it is an issue. I don't think, last week this week now, I went for, I think it was Sterling, Gundogan and Foden. And I think I got a combined 3 points or something. Because Sterling didn't even play.
Yeah, when that's why I put Stones in, because I thought he probably will. Stones probably will start because him and Diaz seem to be the pair. And then you got to go Ederson if you're going for a Man City player because he's going to start every game.
Yeah, true.
But even the likes of De Bruyne or Sterling or Foden or people like that, they will get rotated and they will be rested because their squad is massive with so much quality that they can just go, do you know what? We're not going to play Sterling for this one. We can just play Mahrez out there or Bernardo Silva out there or there's so many players that you can just rotate around.
Yeah, Nathan Teller.
Yeah. If Man City want to add to their wingers, Nathan Redmond, he was talking to Guardiola about 3 years ago. There's always something there.
The Thierry Henry, next Thierry Henry.
Next Thierry Henry.
I thought you were going to say bring Thierry Henry back then.
You could do. I'll take it.
Mate, we'll get Letiz off the bench for about 5 minutes. That's what we'll do. Get Letiz and Lambert back around.
Talking of them, then, this is for both of you, really. What would your starting Southampton squad be for the Sheffield game? If everyone was fit, I know they're not.
Oh, if everyone was fit.
If everyone was fit, what would your ideal Saints team be? Not even for Sheffield, but just in general.
Just in general, it would be McCarthy, because I think he is the most consistent goalkeeper we have. Bertrand, Benarek, Vestergaard, Walker-Peters, because that was our solid back line at the start of the season. Romeo and Ward-Prowse, because I think their partnership's brilliant in that midfield. I think they really complement each other very well. Armstrong off the right. This is when it gets a little bit... When Redmond's in form, he's our best winger. He is our best winger. So Redmond on the left, and then have Ings and Adams up top. And of course, if we had everyone, it'd be Ings and Long, but that's not possible. It's the Ings and Adams up top. Because that's the start of the season that we had. That's the team that we played for our opening 10, 12 games, and it was our best 11. We just didn't rotate it at all.
Is there any differences you'd make, Matt? I
think he's stuck. You okay, Matt? Hello.
Is there any difference to that 11 that you'd make?
I'd stick over Femi in there, but apart from that, I'd
Fair enough.
Why would you not?
Best player in the league.
I've seen Olufemi score most of his goals for Southampton. We saw him score at Fulham and score at West Ham as well. So I've seen 2 out of his 4 goals scored for Southampton, which is quite incredible, I've got to say.
I almost cried at the one against Chelsea.
The interview after he scored against United, I mean, it's just like, oh, it's just what I do, isn't it?
Wait, was that the one from the corner?
Yeah,
I remember that. I celebrated that so much.
He struck one from a yard out, and it nestled in the bottom corner. It was fantastic.
We all watched that one together. And obviously, I needed United to lose to try and catch him. And so I celebrated so much as well. It was class.
Great game, that one.
Yeah.
What a moment. Is there anything else to talk about there?
That's all I've got written down.
Mikey, you got anything to sell or promote?
I mean, if Southampton supporters are listening, there is a Saints Prime podcast out there that me and 3 others do, and it's not good now, but we can keep going. The results aren't there, but the podcasts are, and they're still good quality. So
before we do end it,
if
you had to get rid of one Saints Prime member,
oh my God, no, I'm not answering this. I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing this.
Wink if it's Jamie.
That's the title.
What, wink if it's Jamie? No, I wouldn't get rid of anyone. I think everyone adds their own little pizzazz to it, whether it's football related or not. They all add their little bits and pieces. So yeah, I wouldn't get rid of anyone.
Good answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You said. No, they're all good. Leave them alone.
All right.
Thank you, Mikey.
For being on, Mikey.
That's all right.